I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Big story this week is the major storm complex coming out of the Rockies across the Central Plains and moving through the Corn Belt. It's a big story because out in the western United States, or at least I should say the western high plains, part of hard red winter wheat country, we're going to be seeing this as our first major winter storm. I do think that the snow and blizzard conditions are going to be limited mostly to northeast Colorado, southwest and western Nebraska. It really looks to me like as this thing really accelerates to the eastward during the day Wednesday, the precipitation is going to hop back ahead of the coldest air by just a little bit. But no matter what, we're looking at this spawning some pretty good rains across the Corn Belt, especially the western and then northern Corn Belt. The strong low is going to move toward Omaha and then lift to the northeast up into parts of Wisconsin. It's going to put the heaviest to steadiest rain from Iowa up through Minnesota, Wisconsin, back into the eastern part of the Dakotas and eastern Nebraska. Looking at some strong to severe storms coming through eastern Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana as we head through Wednesday. But this is going to be one of the scenarios where the storm just becomes too big and too strong for its own good. It wraps up. We're going to see a pretty good dry slot work in. So we think that one sweeping line of showers and storms will move across most of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, even a good chunk of Missouri, and then it's done. Rains may take a bit longer to move out up in the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes where the low is still circulating. But it's a good big event. I think we could see rainfall totals anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5 inches across the Corn Belt, maybe a bit more. Worried about snows accumulating 6-10 inches or so out in northeastern parts of Colorado. But in wheat areas like that, that's really not a story. It's not an issue. Moisture is moisture, whether it comes as snow or rain. Winds are going to be fairly substantial, so we'll have to watch that. But again, if crop progress numbers show that we're basically done harvesting at this point, even strong gusty winds can't be seen as a bad thing at this point. We'll dry down, have high pressure come in behind this to finish out the week and go through the weekend into early next week. Gusty winds will bring cold air down quickly, but just like what we saw last week, it really looks like this cold air is just going to take us back to normal, maybe slightly below for a day and a half or so. That's it. And then we're just going to roll on. Another big system works across the Corn Belt next week, but this one has a different origin. Low pressure coming out of the central to southern plains will move across into the lower delta, has a great pickup of moisture off the Gulf, brings it up across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, but it's a southern flow pattern like this. It doesn't turn into anything dramatic, not a big circulating low, so I think northwestern parts of the Corn Belt may miss out some, but this eastern Corn Belt and even southern Corn Belt area could pick up, again, 0.5 to 2 inches of rain next week, thanks to the wide open Gulf of Mexico. We'll follow that up with another low that comes into southeastern parts of Colorado toward the end of the 10-day period. I'm looking for this to bring some rain across, again, more of a southern track. Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, even maybe a bit of southern Iowa, but mostly farther south as we go through the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Looks like a good setup there. But this entire pattern continues to show only temperatures normal, if not above. I'm not seeing the major cold air blast just yet. The one that we saw midweek last week that was in the extended period, you know what? It's just not there. We are not seeing a massive blast of cold air yet, which honestly, personally, I'm fine with, but it's also a little bit interesting. You know, we saw parts of the eastern Corn Belt just finally get a killing frost this past weekend, early November. You just don't see that. So we've actually been warmer than normal here, and we see near normal temperatures going forward. Talking a little bit about international weather at this point, not a lot of big-time stories out there. Yes, we are seeing a little bit of moisture in extreme eastern parts of Australia for wheat there, but generally speaking, the next 10 days look a lot drier in Australia. So those that were saying, hey, too much rain, too fast, problem, well, now we're back to some drier weather for about 10 days or so. We've got rains of about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch for Ukraine and Russian wheat areas starting probably late tonight. You can make an argument tomorrow, and then going through Thursday. Another 1/10 to maybe 5/10 goes through nearly the same areas this weekend. So I'm looking for 70 to 80% coverage out of those two things combined. Totals will be anywhere from probably 1/2 to 1 inch. That'll be general. So a nice little rain there. Temperatures continue to be below normal in that part of the world. And I still see no major problems in South America. It's drier in Mato Grosso here for the next 10 days to 2 weeks. And by drier, I mean just a few scattered showers, but it looks like the best action is going to be outside of that province, outside of that state. But other key grain areas down there are going to continue to get scattered showers. I think you can probably lump everything together over the 10-day period and say, well, half, 1.5 inches combined. It's not bad. They should have plenty of windows to keep working. And even Argentina has decent rains coming through, so we're looking at no weather stories just yet down in the southern hemisphere. That's the way things are stacking up. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.